G'day traders, welcome to a wrap up of Tuesday the 9th of October. So it looks like these markets are starting to get a bit of movement again. It's good to see we're pulling back from these highs on the daily charts here. We're certainly well and truly away from that summer break in the US, so hopefully we'll start to see the markets move some more. Encourage you to really start pushing down and breaking below this area here. So at the moment, it's certainly the market's having a bit of a pullback. The sellers are providing some pressure, but definitely the uptrend, of course, still very much on the upside. If you would imagine this like a 1 minute chart, you can see it forming a bit of a double top. It hasn't able to go higher than its previous high here, so that's an indication that the sellers are starting to win back a little bit of control, and certainly wouldn't put any major emphasis on it until it starts breaking underneath this point here. And once you start getting that, if it can break down underneath here, we're starting to get a little bit of a reversal pattern, and so the sellers will gain some strength up from that. So keep an eye out for that. But until we get past that 1422 area, which will certainly be a strong support, it's still a buyer's market, but with seller pressure in the nearer term future. So 15-minute chart here, you can see that basically got the chart quite squashed up here, just to show you the last sort of 3 weeks or so, and you can see the last 3 or so days we've certainly been pushing down. They keep on breaking down and breaking past significant support areas. Last night we saw the market fall quite a bit, and this line here, I've kept this line in here, which is quite a significant support line in the market at the moment, 1445. It's the bottom of the channel, which will previously lean back in. You can see we got below the channel. We then used the channel as resistance. They've got back up above the channel, and that's where they tried to go higher. From there they've come back down, and you can see they've popped off the bottom of the channel there, providing a bit of support. Then once they finally broke through that, that's where the market really started to give way, and we saw quite a decent sell-off, and pretty major sell-off, just because the market was breaking probably one of the more significant areas in the market at the moment. It's quite a pivotal point, that 1445, and has been for many weeks. You can see right through this area here, the market is either using it as a resistance or support, and it's a very strong support resistance area. And then of course coming down further, so we're approaching this low point down here, which we talked about on the daily charts. So a couple of little significant areas for it to break down if it wants to really, if the sellers really want to have a go at trying to take this market lower and take back a bit of control from these buyers, which have been pushing up for for months now. Right, so having a look at the 5-minute charts. The most significant areas here when we started to break down. So what happened is, you can see also we've made a bit of a swing low here. I mean that previously lines up pretty well with this pre-market sort of range as well. And then all through this period here, the Nasdaq was the one that looked really confident on the downside. Watching these markets live, the Nasdaq all through this period here was trying to break lower, and it actually broke this low well and truly before any of the other markets. The Russell, it was starting to hang back a bit. It was doing a similar kind of thing to the ES, just waiting, but it was the Nasdaq that certainly took these markets lower. As far as this particular 5-minute setup here, you can see the moving average clearly pointing down, so it'd be considered a 5-minute fade, so one you look to sell off from. But even though there was selling pressure here, if you sort of pop over to the 1-minute charts over here, this is where the fade was coming up. So what we're doing is asking for the market to push lower here, which you can see lines up with a little bit of support back here, which makes the area a little bit more tougher. It popped up, which would have stopped out the trade, and then it's had its significant push down. So when the markets come back at that low point again, so this time with the Nasdaq breaking sort of all those pre-market ranges, that's when it was able to get its momentum and really start to push through and break lower. From there we just had quite a decent sell-off. Pop over the 1-minute chart. It's had a good 10-12 point push down, so it's good to see this sort of movement and action from the sell side, starting to gain back a little bit of control, showing that they're still around, and hopefully they can continue to do something like this. And if we see these markets continue to push down lower, it'll certainly pick up the volume and pick up the daily ranges as well. But after that solid push down the market, it went into quite a consolidation period. It just dealt sideways. We had another 5-minute signal come up here. So this one, again, technically a fade looking at the buy side, but Again, a tough one, even though the areas worked. The moving average was certainly starting to flatten out as the trade came up, and you can see the market was in quite a tight range as well. Didn't look like it was really wanting to head anywhere. The other markets were staying pretty flat as well, and that's what the market continued to do. Pretty much the rest of the afternoon is stick within a few of those lower and upper power points. So that's a wrap up for Tuesday, and we'll be back on Wednesday.